Hey everybody, Yankee here. You know, over the last couple of days since the vice presidential debate, I've had a lot of people asking me, what did I think of J.D. Vance's response to how this country needs to deal with school shooters? Well, I'm going to have to say right off the bat that I didn't watch the debate. I had no desire to watch two politicians stand up there and lie for however long it is they're doing it. Some people believe that, all politicians are bad except for the ones I like. I take it a little further. I just think all politicians are bad, and I don't need to hear them lying to me. I know they ain't going to do anything for me, whether there's an R or a D after their name. Chances are they aren't going to do anything for you either, unless you're a billionaire donor. So I'm really not that interested. In fact, I've stopped watching broadcast news, and I'm much happier since I have, because now I read my news. I just find information in articles, and I read the articles I want to read. And I will say I have seen a lot of article titles lately saying J.D. Vance screws the Pooch in his response to school shooters and all that stuff. But I hadn't really read them. But since people are wanting to know what my opinion of what he said is, I did some research. I looked into what he said, watched the videos, read the transcript. And he said basically, to put it in a nutshell, that we need to fortify the schools. Doors need to be stronger, locks need to be stronger, windows need to be stronger. It needs to be harder for bad actors to actually get into school. I agree with that 100%. Schools should be more fortified. Did I say mortified or did I say fortified? I meant to say fortified. I can't remember which one I said right now. But they need to be more fortified. Our children are very precious and they're very vulnerable. They need to be protected while they're in school. So the building should be hard to get into. Many times I go up to my kids' schools, front doors are propped open during the school day when they were in school. Now they're in college, so it's a little different. But that's not acceptable to me. I know it's a small risk that there's going to be a school shooting. It's a very tiny risk. Hardly worth really noticing, except if it wasn't for the fact that children are so valuable. So I don't find that acceptable to prop open doors, etc. I do agree with J.D. Vance that they should be more fortified. The only problem with that part of his response is, I don't think that should be the first thing you say. The first thing should be prevention of school shootings. Stopping the shooters before they become school shooters. Taking away the reasons that these things happen. Rectifying those situations. But that's a different story entirely. So I think one of the reasons he's getting a lot of flack for what he said is because he kind of took the thing that should be third tier in what we should be doing and presented it like his first tier. And I don't know if that's what he meant to do or not, but that's the only thing I can find wrong with what he said there. Now, there is one more thing he said that I disagree with 100%, and that is he said we need more resource officers in the school. And that means police officers. That's what resource officers are in almost every situation. They're local law enforcement that get assigned to a school. And I don't think we need more cops in schools. I think we need no cops in schools. Because when you have cops in schools, they start treating kids like perps. We've all seen it. It's inevitable. Cops don't have the right attitudes to deal with children. They don't have the right attitudes to deal with people nowadays, much less children. So I don't agree with more resource officers in schools. In fact, we've already seen how that doesn't really work because cops time and time again have displayed their inbred cowardice and desire to take no risks. That's kind of beat into them now, that you don't take risks. You're important. If you got to shoot somebody first and ask questions later, do it. And if someone's shooting, you stay away till they stop. And like I said, they've demonstrated their cowardice time and time again during school shootings. So don't agree with him there at all. I think what he should have said is we need more armed teachers. Teachers care about the students. And I think teachers are braver than police, especially nowadays. I am not a fan of today's policing system. So I think what he should have said is we need to start dealing with the root cause of these shootings. And then we need to arm teachers and then we need to fortify buildings. If he'd have done it in that order, I think there'd been nothing you could argue with what he said. But the resource officer thing, I disagree with completely. Like I said, the fortification, that just should have been the third thing on the list, not the first thing on his list. But arming teachers is a much better idea than putting cops in schools. They care about the kids. They have personal relationships with the kids. They don't have this attitude of they are somehow the law and what they do is what's important and their lives are more important than everybody else's. Teachers have kind of the opposite. They put the kids first. So I think the children would be better served by a few armed teachers in the school. It doesn't have to be all of them. A few volunteers. We got a lot of ex-military in our schools. A lot of my kids' teachers were ex-military. And I guarantee you they probably know how to handle a gun. And they know how to make that gun safe during the day so it's not a threat to them or the children. It's only a threat when a bad guy, a bad actor enters the building. So that should have been his answer, not resource officers. Resource officers, that's a garbage idea. They ain't worth the time of day. An armed teacher, however, could be what stands between your children and tragedy. And they would actually put themselves between your children and tragedy more likely than these school officers do. So as far as what he said, I agree with some of it. I just think there's things he should have said first. But it makes total sense that schools be fortified. But as far as the resource officers go, absolutely not. That's more of that, let's do a dog whistle to the blue lives matter people, the thin blue line people, and screw those people. Screw this whole notion that cops are your best defense against danger nowadays, because they are not. And they are not the best defense for our children against danger. Armed teachers would be so much better. I know that's not a popular political thing, and you don't win voters. So maybe he was actually thinking that in the back of his head, but he thought, shouldn't say that here. It's not going to be popular. Unfortunately, that's part of being a politician. You don't say what's true. You say what you think is going to win you the most points. But maybe he was thinking that. But as I said, I agree with fortifications. Should be a little farther down the list. We should deal more with prevention. But as far as the resource officers, no, let's just arm the teachers, the people that actually care about your kids.